Good day everyone, I'm Hurley Borify Reviews here, back at it again with my review for the Heidi's, but this time this is the Mark 10, the Arc Sonics. I believe this is the recent or the latest product of Heidi's when it comes to their IEMs. But before I proceed, I'd like to thank Heidi's for supporting me throughout these years and for sending this unit to me in an exchange for a very honest and transparent review. Rest assured that all of my reviews are honest and transparent to the core, like I always do, for the benefit of everybody, of course, including me. Since again and again, I won't be editing this extensively, English isn't really my native language, and at the same time, I prefer writing reviews rather than recording them. Of course, there are a lot of reviewers that do their reviews on YouTube that are better than me. So please, by all means, do support them as well if you find them very reputable and very honest, like I do. Okay? Okay. So to give you an idea, slash first things first, the Heidi's Mark 10 Arc Sonics is based off of an Iron Man arc reactor from what I have been told, or from what I have understand on their marketing materials. It does look like it resembles straight out of an Iron Man suit, but not the Mark 10 despite its name. In my humble opinion, it kind of reminds me of the Mark 2 actually, the Mark 2 of the Iron Man suit, because it is in all glossy chrome finish, which also shares the same finish of the Iron Man Mark 2 as well, in silver colorway as well. So there's that. And yes, the Mark 10 Arc Sonics is under $100 by the time that I record this video. From what I have been told as well, it is right under 100 USD, or probably within the 150 USD range. So it is within the par, or within the within the ballpark of the Heidi's MS2 Pro that I have reviewed earlier, or earlier this month, or probably last 2 months ago. So let's see the difference of these two actually, of the Mark 10 Arc Sonics and the MS2 Pro, which I also have. I still have it here. It's just on my stash, and yes, I've been using it daily with the DD Hi-Fi DSP cable that I have reviewed earlier as well, or earlier this month as well. Okay? Okay. So what is the difference, or what makes the Mark 10 Arc Sonics different from their previous releases, like for example uh the Mark 12 Tourist, the MS2 Pro, or the other Heidi's products? Well, the Heidi's Mark 10, as well, it is also seen in their box. As you can see here, the Heidi's Mark 10 uses a silicon carbide diaphragm in their dynamic drivers, which is honestly a new thing to me. I haven't encountered or know an IM that uses a silicon carbide diaphragm. This is quite a first to me. So please do take note that I do not have any experience prior to these types of diaphragm in terms of the material that they have used here. But as far as I know, and as far as I remember, the only two diaphragms that I have encountered and actually liked in a dynamic driver are the, what do you call this, the magnesium, yes, the magnesium diaphragm that the Heidi's Mark 2 Tourist uses, and the LCP, or the liquid crystal polymer, because it has a certain character to it, which are also seen in the IEMs that use it with. Like for example, the Tanjim IEMs uses that, but with a different twist, which I won't be getting to, because the what do you call this, the focus here is the Mark 10 Arc Sonics, which again uses a silicon carbide diaphragm. So I'll discuss later on what I found unique here with the diaphragm that they use with the Mark 10 Arc Sonics. So here's the box. As you can see, if you've encountered or probably purchased the MS2 Pro earlier this month, the differences in terms of their packaging, the box, isn't really a lot here with the Mark 10 Arc Sonics. as you can see, here's the image of the IEM itself, and it really resembles the Mark II helmet or the Mark II suit from the Iron Man series. It doesn't resemble the arc reactor, sure, but it does resemble. It does resemble. It does resemble the helmet or the suit on this one. As you can see, here's the high-res audio logo and the diaphragm, 1DD, the Mark 10, silicon carbide diaphragm. And from what I know, silicon carbide is commonly used in batteries. Yes, particularly the batteries of smartphones in today's market. But please do correct me if I'm wrong on that one, because I haven't nerded out or geeked out on or on technical specifications of gadgets for quite some time now, because all of them at the end of the day does everything what I do to them. Okay, so again, as for the box here, there's nothing new, and from the side here, it does says again the silicon carbide diaphragm, and it shows the two colorways or the two possible colorways of this one. You get the glossy lighter color ish colorway, which is the silver colorway, while what I have here as well is the chromed darker colorway, which in practice it doesn't seem to exhibit any big difference when compared to the silver colorway in the pictures and here uh in the colorways of the image as well. So yeah, the only difference of them is the cable from what I am seeing, but I will get to it later on. As you can see, there isn't really much here when it comes to the packaging. And here's the specifications. As you can see, they use the silicon carbide. They use a 10 millimeter 10 millimeter dual magnetic circuit, dual chamber, your usual stuff. This is 113 decibels and 32 ohms, so you don't need any extravagant power here. So there's that. You can also get this in two options in terms of their termination. You can get this in 3.5 and in 4.4. You have a choice, you just pick what you prefer, but personally I'd use this in 3.5 because again, it doesn't need any extra power despite its unique driver. So there's that. So yeah, it's your usual high-D stuff when it comes to the packaging and the accessories as well. You also get this sets of ear tips here, the gray and the black ear tips. I prefer the gray ear tips on this one to balance things out, which I will also tackle later on. But for better fit and comfort for most ears, use the gray ear tips, because the gray ear tips have a stiffer stem going onto it, unlike the white ear tips, which has a softer and thinner surface, as you can see here. Okay, you'll also get the pouch, nothing new here. The MS2 Pro has this, and as far as I remember, the Mark 12 Tourist has this as well, so no surprises there. You'll also get this one, the modular nozzle filters or the interchangeable nozzle filters, so no surprises there as well. You get in theory, which I also haven't tried, but in theory, most likely, you can use the nozzle filters of the Mark 10 Arcsonics and in the MS2 Pro, and yeah, vice versa. So as for the accessories, there isn't a lot that the Mark 10 Tourist makes itself different from the other releases. But yeah, it is your usual pretty much standard everything here when it comes to the accessories and packaging, which is quite understandable because again, this costs around 100-ish US dollars or below. Okay, so that is a very competitive, actually very competitive price range. Okay, and here's the IEM and cable itself. As you can see here, the cable isn't that much. It is pretty much like, again, the cable that you'll get with the MS2 Pro and yes, the Mark 12 Tourist. So no surprises there, but I do like the design because it is just twisted. It doesn't seem to have a decent weight or something heft to it. It is quite light actually, which I really like, and it doesn't tangle that much when compared to the other cables that I have encountered in terms of stock cable. The the plug here is uh, it is non-modular, so again, you'll have a choice when you purchase the Mark 10 Arcsonics whether you'll get it in 4.4 or probably in 3.5. In practice and in reality, you won't be needing a 4.4 with this one, but the world is your oyster. So by all means, pick what you prefer. And here's the IEMS itself. As you can see here, it is quite glossy. Yes, just like the MS2 Pro. It is fingerprint and smudge magnet, as you can see here, and it really feels solid. It feels solid. Everything is made of full metal here. Yes, everything is made of metal here, as you can see. And it, again, it is glossy, so it means it is smudge proof and prone to fingerprints, as you can see here as well. With that being said, it would have been nice if Heidi's included a cleaning cloth for this one, given that the finish here in the Mark 10 Arcsonic is glossy and will be needing some cleaning or shining from time to time, if you may. And yes, from what I am seeing, the curve here, yeah, the curve here in the Mark 10 Arcsonics also acts as a vent with the whole IEM. So there's that. Okay. Now, as for the fit, comfort, and isolation, just like the MS2 Pro, I had no problems with this one. It fits my ears really well. It doesn't seem to feel bulky or to look bulky in my ears, but do take note that my ears are on the larger side of the spectrum. So, for most people, specifically those average sized ears, will fit this one just fine. It doesn't seem to protrude in my ear, so probably it will fit your ears just fine. For those people that have a smaller sets or pairs of ears, you may find this a little bit slightly on the chunky side of things or on the hefty side of things because of its finish and its design. But for the most part, I can confidently recommend this to everyone since it isn't that big and just like the Mark 12 Tourist, and at the same time, it isn't fatiguing to the ears when it comes to the fit and comfort. Actually, it the edges on this one is quite smooth that there are times that I forget that I still have these in my ears until the aircon in the office kicks in. So there's that. Okay, now as for the drivability, again, you won't be having any problems with the drivability here with the Mark 10 Arcsonics. As you can see here, I prefer it paired with this one, the Venture Electronics Devastator, which is a 2 VRMs ish dongle. You won't be needing any expensive dongles here. Just use the cheapest available that is quite decent, just like the Devastator. You can also use a 2 VRMs J Kali on this one, probably the JM6 or the JM6 Pro, but no one's stopping you to use a DAP like this one, the Hebe R4, which I have here, and all of these pair just fine. It really pairs well, actually. It doesn't seem to exhibit any unwanted concerns or cons here and there, so that's a really good thing. Okay, now as for the sound, so what makes the MK10 RX Sonics differ from the, let's say, MS2 or the Mark 12 Tourist? Well, to give you an idea, the Mark 10 RX Sonics sits in between the MS2 Pro and the Mark 12 Tourist. Why is that so? Well, the MS2 Pro slightly leans on the neutral, brighter side of things, despite it having the same mild V-shaped character that the Mark 10 Arcsonics has. It also has the warm, while the Mark 12 Tourist is a bit warm, on the warmer side of things. Some people even call it dark, if you may, when compared to the Mark 10 Arcsonics. The Mark 10 Arcsonics sits between the two. So, in practice and in reality, you'll get a mildly V-shaped, yes, this is still a mildly V-shaped sound signature in Hybe's fashion, wherein it is warm but it is well balanced. if I am making sense. Yes, it is still warm, it is still mild V-shape, but it doesn't seem to make the mids very recessed for me to call it drowned. It isn't also base heavy either, with the stock configuration at least, which I will be getting later on. So again, the Mark 10 Arc Sonic sits in between the MS2 Pro and the Mark 12 Tourist. So like, let's say if you want something more balanced, musical, um, probably warm, the Mark 10 Arc Sonics is the way to go if you prefer your treble not as relaxed as the Mark 12 Tourist. But again, another thing that makes the Mark 10 Arc Sonics differ from the what do you call this, from the other two sets, probably is the reason, or it has something to do with the drivers. Now as for the bass on this one, it is well controlled. It is mildly elevated as usual from your usual mild V-shaped sets, particularly in Heidi's fashion. So do expect some mild elevation on the bass here, but what I like about the bass on this one is it manages to sound thick. The overall sound actually for a balanced or relatively balanced set is quite thick, and at the same time it does have the bass elevation while keeping things very firm. It keeps things firm, textured, detailed, and non-lacking for most people. Of course, those people who prefer elevated, chunky, sloppy bass response or earth-shaking bass response will not get that with the Mark 10 Arc Sonics, even with the filters or the bass filter on. So yeah, you won't be getting any earth-shaking bass here, but you will be getting a very good quality of bass here. Probably this is one of these sets that has the bass that I am looking for, despite it not being a bass headset, if I am making sense. Sure, it doesn't have the legato levels of quantity, but the quality on this one is very it is matured in a way, because it doesn't seem to smear onto the other frequencies, which I really like, despite it not being lacking to my taste. Do take note that I prefer mostly flat, neutral, or borderline brightish sets, but the Mark 10 Tourist, I commend the the Mark 10 Arc Sonics for being bassy at the same time non-lacking, at the same time detailed. Props to Heidi's on this one. Maybe it has something to do with the drivers that they use here, but again, this is my first time hearing the capabilities of a silicon carbide diaphragm, so I could be wrong on that. Okay, but one thing's for sure, they tuned this really well. Okay, now as for the mids on this one, compared to the MS2 Pro, it is quite relaxed, but not as relaxed when compared to the Mark 12 Tourist. So the Mark 10 Arc Sonics again sits in between the MS2 Pro and the Mark 12 Tourist. So what you'll get here is a warm, thick, adequately smooth, if you may, mids response. So do expect some mild coloration here with the male vocals and the instruments on the lower mids. Yes, it exhibits some warmth, but it is tastefully done. I wouldn't call it too colored or anything like that. It doesn't seem to fall on that category to my liking. Now, as for the upper mids on this one is quite good. I honestly like the upper mids on this one because yes, they use the silicon carbide or something like that, and it is quite new to me. But at the same time, they managed to retain that certain Heidi's upper mids, wherein it is still sparkly, it is still present, it is still airy, but at the same time, it doesn't seem to sound harsh or sibilant at all. I have seen some graphs of the Mark 10 Arc Sonics on the internet, but it doesn't really translate the unit at least to my this unit at least to my ears. When it comes to the frequency response, it doesn't seem to exhibit any peaks or any harshness or even sibilance on that regard, while keeping things very present, at the same time airy and very detailed. It is very clear. So Again, props to Heidi's on that one. To give you an idea, the MS2 Pro sounds brighter, way brighter on stock configuration here when compared to the Mark 10 Arcsonic. So that is quite a very good improvement, or a very good variation, if you may, of their product, since of course some people, or yeah, most people will not prefer a brighter set, while there's also a possibility that some people may prefer a brighter set. So I am glad that Heidi's put the Mark 10 Arcsonics alongside with the MS2 Pro when it comes to their price range, and that's a good thing. Okay, now as for the treble on this one, it is again, it is well extended. It isn't as relaxed when compared to the Mark 12 Tourist, but at the same time, it isn't as energetic or as extended or as airy when compared to the MS2 Pro. But one thing's for sure, the treble on this one is not as thin when compared to the MS2 Pro. So there's that. It can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what you prefer. But I prefer my treble usually well extended, while at the same time not sounding thin or shrilly. And the Mark 10 Arcsonics nails that, which I really like. Okay, so you won't be getting any sibilance, peaks, or harshness here and there. But do take note that some people, like some people, like to be really specific, those people with with ears that are sensitive to upper frequencies, you may find the treble of the Mark 10 Arcsonics borderline bright after an hour or two. So there's that. Detail retrieval on this one is pretty much average to above average for a set that costs within 100-ish USD. No surprises here. I wouldn't be surprised here. But the thing that surprised me is the technical chops, because the technical chops on this one is quite good actually. When it comes to the separation and layering, I really like the separation and layering of this one. Maybe it has something to do with the drivers, the silicon carbide and its thing. I am not sure if it is mainly because of that, or probably it is purely because of the tuning, which I usually tend to use as a conclusion, because if you tune a very good IEM, it is mostly because of the tuning, if I'm making sense. It is not because of the driver's use, yada yada yada. But it's a personal thing. It isn't something that I would show to everyone. Okay, it is merely based on my experience. Okay, so based on the technical chops here is above average at most, particularly on the separation and layering. So yeah, I really like the separation and layering on this one. It is very incisive. It doesn't seem to struggle that much on very congested or very busy passages or busy tracks, which is the thing that I usually look for at first when listening to the first 15 minutes of an IEM that I always review. As for the soundstage is there. It is still your usual wider than deep with a good amount of height, but it isn't as surprising, if you may, when I compare it to the MS2 Pro. Although their differences are not by a lot actually, but and yes, when also compared it to the Mark 12 Tourist, which is the soundstage monster of an IEM that I have here. So for the most part, you'll be expecting the Mark 10 Arcsonics to perform really well even on very busy or heavy passages. But of course, please do take note that this IEM isn't for critical listening, if there's a genre for it. So yeah, please do manage your expectations. But I'm not saying that this is a bad IEM when it comes to the technical chops. In fact, I love the technical chops on this one mainly because of the separation and layering. It's just that I have heard the Mark 12 Tourist for me to call it just okay. Okay? Okay. Now as for this one, the modular nozzles on this one, it is like your usual modular nozzles that you'll usually found in the MS2 Pro or the Mark 12 Tourist. So it is pretty much the same in terms of the effect when you use the treble. Yes, the treble, or this white one here. Yeah. This white one here, when you use this one with the Mark 10 Arcsonics, the whole sound will be a little bit more balanced. It is now more leaning towards to the MS2 Pro territory, but at the same time, the chances of sibilance, or not really sibilance, but more of peaks and some slight harshness will show. So there's that. While when you use this one, I'm sorry, when you use this one, yes, the red one here. Now, when you use the red one here, or this one, the red nozzle filter, the whole sound will become much more warmer to my liking. It will also make the overall sound a little bit thicker, more bassy. The bass on this one adds a little bit more body. It exhibit a very satisfying slam, especially for those who prefer their bass very slammy, if you may. But at the same time, the technical chops are also affected in a slightly negative manner on this one, particularly on the separation and layering. So you win some, you lose some, but personally, I'd like to keep it stuck. I'd like to keep it stuck like this way, then just use these filters whenever like, let's say, the filter here in the Mark 10 Arcsonics is already damaged or anything like that, because at the end of the day, their differences are not really night and day. So if you catch my drift, okay. So where should we compare this? We should compare this with the big ballers, or with the hard hitting IEMs that exist under 5,000 pesos, or under 100-ish USD in my book, which is, first is the Truth Hear Hexa. When compared, the Truth Hear Hexa is basically a more neutral version of this one. It also produces more driver timbre. It also sounds a little bit thin in the mids when compared to this one, but it edges the MK10 Arcsonics, although not by a lot, in the technical chops, which is expected. Except for the soundstage though. The soundstage on the Mark 10 Arcsonics is much more wider when compared to the Hexa, which is already anticipated. But I am glad that the Hexa isn't still outdated despite its years of being a top recommended IEM, even by me. Okay, now where should we compare this next? We should compare this next with the Tanchjim Nora, an IEM that I really like due to its flatness and nearly uncolored sound. When compared, of course, the Tanchjim Nora sounds lean. It sounds lean, it sounds uncolored, at the same time, it sounds unforgiving when compared to the Mark 10 Arcsonics. The Mark 10 Arcsonics, despite being a technical beast, in my opinion, under 100 USD, it is very forgiving on poorly recorded tracks, on flawed / imperfect tracks, when compared to the Nora, wherein the Nora is literally a garbage in, garbage out type of IEM. If a component of your chain sounds bad, it will show that your component or the overall sound is bad with that component. Okay, so which will I pick? Well, it really depends on what you prefer. If I have the money, I would prefer both, given that these sets exhibit literally different sound characters. But if I am a thrifty person, I'd prefer the Mark 10 Arcsonics because it is much more versatile. It is much more all-rounder. But if, again, I would pick, based on my preference, I'd pick the Nora because it is neutral and it is flat, which I prefer most of the time. Okay, so where should we compare this next? We should compare this next with the Heidi's IEMs, which I've already mentioned a couple of them. Like, for example, the MS2 Pro. When compared, the MS2 Pro is a brighter version of the Mark 10 Arcsonics, give or take. So you'll expect a little bit of driver timbre here and there, a little bit of peaks here and there, especially with their treble filter. Nothing new here. But at the same time, again, if you prefer something more neutral, something more, leaner in terms of presentation, of course, the MS2 Pro is for you. But if you prefer something thicker, if you prefer something bassier, if you prefer something smoother, then the Mark 10 Arcsonics is for you. Okay? And lastly, we should compare this with its big brother, big and relatively old brother, the Mark 12 Tourist. When compared, the Mark 12 Tourist is definitely has the largest stage in all of the IMs that I have here. And at the same time, um, it is also has the larger soundstage when compared to the Arcsonics. Sure, it is much more thicker, bassier, pretty bit dead in the treble when compared to the Arcsonics, but at the same time, it has the larger, cozy, enveloping sound when compared to the Arcsonics. While the Arcsonics slightly edges, yes, slightly edges the Mark 12 Tourist in the technical chops, mainly on the separation and layering. Because I find the separation and layering of the Mark 10 Tourist, even the MS2 Pro, a little bit better than the Mark 12 Tourist. Okay? So, there's that. So, I'll switch to the Tagalog version of this review for me to do a quick summary of the Mark 10 Arcsonics. Okay? When compared, itong si Mark 10 Arcsonics is a 5,000 pesos IEM and mild V-shape siya. So, if gusto mo nang sabihin natin mid-centric, ganito ganyan, may mga IEMs na mas okay para doon, pero ito is nasa mild V-shape siya na balanced. Okay? So, yun, yung accessories niya, wala namang gaanong pinagkaiba kaysa sa MS2 Pro. And in theory, pwede mong gamitin tong filters ng MS2 Pro ng Mark 10 Arcsonics, sa MS2 Pro. Wala kang magiging problem doon because pareho sila halos ng shape. When it comes sa concept, gusto ko yung ginawa ng Hydies dito. Actually, sa recent IEMs nila, na very unique yung concept nila. Even itong Arcsonics, hindi ko naisip na gagawin nila to. And ayun, ginawa nga nila. Pero mas naalala ko yung Mark II, Iron Man Mark II dito na naging War Machine. If you know, you know. Kesa sa Mark 10. Kasi yung Mark 10 is iba yung itsura niya compared dito sa Arcsonics. So, ayun, if proper naming yung gagamitin, I'd call this the Mark II. Pero yun nga, kasi marami naman na Mark II IEMs, they called it the Mark 10. Okay? And ayun, yung isa pa sa different, or sa kaya to special kasi ito yung first IEM na na-encounter ko na may silicone carbide diaphragm, which is usually nakikita ko lang sa mga advertisement ng cellphones, particularly Xiaomi phones actually, dun sa battery nila. Pero ayun, first time ko maka-encounter nitong silicone carbide na diaphragm, which siguro in theory, kasi wala naman akong alam sa tuning talaga alam mo yun, nag-reflect siya sa overall na tunog ng Mark 10 Tourist. Kasi itong Mark 10 Tourist is kahit na warm siya, nasa balance-ish side siya, ang linis pa rin ng bass. Yung bass response niya sobrang solid pa rin. Very, alam mo yun, talaga dikit talaga na parang hindi siya nagiging loose kahit na naging busy na yung passages. Which is, yun yung gusto ko usually. Actually, yung bato ng bass na ito, parang halos katulad ng planar driver pero mas may extension, mas may dynamic, hence dynamic driver. Ayun, ganun yung linis niya which I really like. And think of it na parang 5,000 pesos or under lang to by the time na na-record yung video na to. So, paldong-paldo na dun kung gusto mo talaga ng all-rounder, 'di ba? Of course, hindi naman to perfect. Syempre, again, ayun yung cable ay yung shell niya, fingerprint and smudge magnet. Ayun, syempre, hindi ito yung parang pinaka-technical na narinig ko sa price na to, but at the same time, hindi naman din siya nalalayo either. Tapos, ayun nga, hindi modular yung cable, walang case na kasama, even cleaning cloth na kasama, kasi syempre, fingerprint and smudge prone to. So, yun sana, kung may cleaning cloth man lang, it would be nice. So, ayun, para sa akin, if like gusto mo ng something nakakaiba, something unique, and something na reliable, gawa nga nung design niya, do take note na all metal to Lahat, mostly, ng ID sa IEMs is all metal. Kaya gusto ko talaga yung IEMs nila. And, hindi sila takot na mag-experiment. Hindi sila takot mag-experiment sa mga design, sa concept, sa driver na ginagamit, which is a huge deal or a big deal to me. Kasi itong mga IEMs usually, tried and true, or like yung pinaka-safest yung usually ginagawa nila for the money, which I also understand, but I am commending Hydies for making things a little bit bolder than the usual market. Okay? So, balik na ako sa verdict ko dito, or sa English for a verdict. So, what's my verdict here with the Hydies Mark 10 Arcsonics? The Heidi's Mark 10 Arsonics is definitely a very unique experience to me in a very good way, because its sound is very familiar but at the same time unique when it comes to the quality it delivers for the price. I did not expected that the bass of the Mark 10 Arsonics will hit really hard to my preference, but at the same time it keeps its composure, it keeps its firmness, its tightness. Above all that, this is a 1DD IEM that costs around 100-ish USD. So with that being said, if you're looking for an all-rounder at the same time very unique IEM, this is by far the IEM that the only IEM that I know that uses silicon carbide, that is also an all-rounder sounding IEM, that also can be paired with pretty much everything and won't even get any compromises here and there. Well, the Heidi's Mark 10 Arsonics is for you. I'd wholeheartedly recommend it for anyone who are willing to spend for an all-rounder set under 100 USD or within 100 USD by the time that I record this video. I actually use this daily alongside with the other IEMs that I review, because I really like this set a lot, because I only have a few sets that sounds almost similar to this one, but this one is the very remarkable IEM to me, because because it does things in a very mature way despite it being very versatile and very dynamic. Okay, and that ends my review for the Heidi's Mark 10 Arsonics. Again, I'd like to thank Heidi's for sending this unit to me in an exchange for a very honest and transparent review. Rest assured that all of my reviews are honest and transparent to the core, like I always do, for the benefit of everybody, of course, including me. Since again and again, I won't be editing this extensively, English isn't really my native language, and I prefer writing reviews rather than recording them. Okay, now as for the backlogs, there are a lot of backlogs. I still have the Jade Audio GSE 4.4B. I still have some IEMs, probably dongles as well, that are along the way. I still have the KZ Taurus, which I will review sooner. I also have this one in the mail. This came right in the mail by the time that I record this as well, which is the into Aura Impact IEM, which is a very interesting IEM as of now, because I do believe that it isn't really released yet, and I am glad that they trusted me to do some findings here and maybe do a review with the Intuara Impact. Okay, and thank you for stopping by, thank you for listening to my ramblings, and see you on the next one. Last one.